Hi, welcome back this week to The Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy, and I have an amazing guest for you today, Lindsey House. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and just tell you all about her history and how she came to do what she does. But I've been so impressed. I've been watching her podcast, and she's just got probably so many things in her bio that she probably won't even be able to tell us in like our first intro to her.
Aw.
So I'm going to let you just kind of take it away a little bit, Lindsey, and tell us who you are and how you got into what you do.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so honored to be here today. My name is Lindsey House. I'm a dietitian and a personal trainer turned accountability coach because I feel like my clients always came to me and said, I know what to do, I just need to do it. So I feel like it's been more of that journey of not me teaching all the time, but more so pulling out of them. What are your desires? What's your why? How can we get you where you want to go? And I love that space. I love the coaching.
And so when you're coaching people and the accountability, what sort of schedule? Because I always say, you know, the best teachers are the ones that you sort of jive with. And so what kind of people do you look for? And then what do you kind of expect from them? And sort of how do you work with them? Because I know if somebody's looking for something like an accountability coach, it's like, where do you even start?
Right. No, that's a great question because I kind of feel like a lot of different professionals can become our accountability coach. I talk about even building a dream team of accountability. We need, at different seasons of life, different people to kind of handhold us through. So, and have you ever noticed this with your patients? You draw in people that are seeking you, whether you're meaning to or not.
The universe just brings them.
Right?
It's a law of attraction kind of thing, yeah.
So I find I get a lot of moms and grandmas because when we start to talk about somebody's why they care, it's oftentimes they feel like they want a scale reduction. They feel like they want to lose weight, but the more that you start asking that, ask why till you cry, they want to be on the floor playing with their grandbabies. They want to get on an airplane without worrying about if the seatbelt's going to fit, to ride the roller coaster. So when we start thinking like life in general and just thriving through our days instead of just surviving through them, which again, I'm sure you get a lot of and wanting to help your people. I want people to thrive. I want you to have joy every day, not just survive it. So
I find that women too, we're just natural born caretakers, and it's really hard for us to take that role as looking to help ourselves and to look for accountability, because it seems like such, an investment, not just of money, but time and energy. And so it's really hard when you like have a kid's soccer to think about, to really step into like having an accountability coach and self-growth. Right. And I know through my life, that's been a super important thing. And so you're never to the point where you don't need some help with that.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a little break. When we come back, you have a great thing. I've been studying a little bit about what you do, but it's called the GRASP model.
Yes.
GRASP. So you're going to stay tight, and we're going to talk about that. And you're going to want to stay till the end, because Lindsey has 3 tips to really help mold your life into the best life possible. So you're going to want to stay tuned all the way through. And she's wonderful anyway, so why wouldn't you? All right, we'll be right back. The world of hyperbaric medicine is absolutely amazing. It's been around for more than 60 years, but what it does is hyper means more than, and baric is pressure. So it creates a pressure environment where oxygen can actually get into the cells. I think it should be used in every aspect of healing strokes, Parkinson's, so many uses, as well as injuries, because what you need when you injure yourself is to increase blood flow to that area. I had a good friend with a burn on his hand after 3 dives. It was a 3rd-degree burn. Now, after a couple weeks, you can't, and this was only 3 dives, you can't even see where the blister was. I've seen neurological injuries, brachial plexus injuries. with no movement and complete atrophy of the muscles, getting movement back within 3 days. Hi, welcome back to The Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy, and I have Lindsey House here with me. She's a dietitian by training, and then she's worked into, probably from just seeing the needs that people have, into being an accountability coach. And I know that a lot of people struggle with, how do you even find a coach? And I know as we move through life, you kind of mentioned a few minutes ago that you kind of attract where you are in life. So like I work with a lot of menopausal women because that's just what I attract in. So if you could kind of just tell us a little bit about how you start to even find an accountability coach and why you think you need one. How would it benefit our folks?
Right. I think that we start with our trusted resources. If we have our medical professionals that we trust and they have somebody, an accountability coach doesn't necessarily have to call themselves that. It could be your dietitian, it could be your therapist, it could be, it's somebody who is holding your feet to the fire on when we say, I'd like to do something, when we say, I know I should, but I'm not, or I know how to, and I'm still not. It's that knowing into doing phase is why I think just having, and we can just call it a coach, that I really believe strongly, even when people are working with therapists or a dietitian, to have a coach supplementing it, it's the action steps, which is really an amazing place to be.
So I will refer to you, absolutely.
Okay.
That will be the person you'll come to, and I'll refer you to her. I think it's a little different too with therapy, because people say, I'm so depressed, can you recommend a therapist? And when they say, can you recommend, they're thinking psychiatrist sometimes. And I'm a little leery to do that, because Big Pharma is the last thing. We're the Naked Doctor Show, the naked truth about health and wealth, and lifestyle and wellness. But the last thing I want to do is see people numb out or go straight to Big Pharma for fixing a problem, when it's really about, you have to change the way you do your life, of course. And so therapists are wonderful. So I'm like, I think you're wanting a therapist, not a psychiatrist. And then it kind of goes down to the therapist kind of says, well, what do you think? So I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but accountability coach is somebody who says, this is what I see. This is where the areas are that are causing you grief in your life. What can we do, and how can I support you? And
right, it's amazing like that. And I picture it as, if people have heard the word decision fatigue, they walk in going, I need to change this. I need this to look different. I need this, and I am just circling around it, and therefore I'm not doing anything. I'm totally paralyzed. So I feel like that's where the coaching component brings all of that down onto paper, and then we prioritize. And then it's up to the client or the patient to say, this is what I want to start on. It's my low-hanging fruit. It's the piece that I feel like feels attainable. I want to start there. Because how many times, you mentioned dietitian earlier, and people feeling like, oh no, they're going to take away my diet soda, or they're going to take away everything I love.
Stick me on a food pyramid.
Yes, and it's not that. It's come in and let's talk about what you want to change and feels right in your life right now. I don't want somebody to tell me what to do.
And I think it's just so fascinating too, when people are looking for direction and they don't know where to start. It's like having someone to prioritize that.
Oh, it's amazing.
The first thing I think that happens when you have a goal and you don't know where to start is excuses start in first. They sort of meet you at the door, and you're like, well, there's not enough time. I can't afford a coach, and where do I start? And who would I talk to? So all those things. So basically you interview your coach, you see if there's a good fit, and then you work with that person at that point to see what the schedule looks like and what that.
Absolutely. There's always an assessing period, just like when you go into a doctor's office, you get assessed. Where do we need to start? So.
Yeah, and then you want somebody that's vulnerable with you who can say, yes, me too, instead of judgment and stuff. So I think most coaches are probably in a namaste place. The vulnerability of me is the vulnerability in you. Okay, so you have a great model. I kind of looked it over a little bit before we met, and it's called the GRASP model, GRASP. It's easy to kind of list there. So I'm going to let you talk about that just a little bit and how it can help people, and how you can kind of put coaching together with that too.
Okay, I do love this. It's 5 pillars that I feel like I stand behind, that I believe that people can get healthy both mentally, both emotionally, as well as physically. So we have the G, which is garbage in, garbage out, self-talk. Whew.
So important. We beat
So
ourselves
important.
up so much.
Right? And just that idea that we cannot go from being really mean to ourselves to all of a sudden expecting to look ourselves in the mirror and going, I'm beautiful, I'm perfect, I'm beautifully made. No. So we can talk about that more if you want. The R, rewrite the rules to what success looks like. A lot of times we are chasing somebody else's success. So we need to figure
Comparison is criminal.
Comparison's a thief of joy. It's one of my favorite quotes, and I believe it so strongly. So we do need to work on that. The A is accountability. I feel like it's the underpinning of everything that we do. The S is stop chasing somebody else's goals. How often do we do that? I want what I think you're doing or wanting, and we gotta stick to our own. And the P is permission to not be perfect. I really stand on this whole direction, not perfection platform.
Yes, I love that. I've watched some of your podcasts, and that's so important that it's so hard not to, especially overachievers or type A personalities, it's like, is success achievement? Is it, what is it? Is it just loving your family and being in a good place and waking up every day in gratitude? To me, it's not an acquisition. It's not about he who dies with the most toys. To me, it's just about the joy that you have inside. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk with Lindsey more about that model. We're going to break that down just a little bit for the applicability in your life, and just stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So honestly, they keep me level. I feel good. In those times that I have little dips of feeling tired or not on top of it, I can just reach out to them and they'll check my blood work and they'll tweak whatever needs to be tweaked. And I'm 57 and they just keep me feeling good. They offer so many services that helps me and my entire family. But sometimes I just feel ran down and I can call and say, hey, here's what I'm feeling. Again, they'll check my blood work, and today I'm just getting an IV that's got some vitamin C and some vitamins just to help me, feel better through the allergy season and just have some more energy. They are so personable. They're actually, I call them my family. They feel like my family. They really, really care about their patients. I have a great relationship with them. And that's so hard to find in this day and age that we live, to find someone that has an interest, whether it's 8 o'clock at night or if it's, 8 o'clock in the morning. I know that they're always there and I know they care and they really, really want me to feel better. And that's so hard to find. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
Hi, welcome back to The Naked Doctor. We have a great show for you today. It's kind of our naked truth about lifestyle today. So I love these topics. They're probably the nearest and dearest to my heart because I can get nerding out in the science, but these things I feel like they are as much for me spiritually and therapeutic for me as they are for you guys. So I love it. So we have Lindsey House in the house today talking about kind of a spiritual sort of journey. And I love your model. We talked, it's called the GRASP model, and GRASP. It sounds like I'm saying grass. But, and it sounds like you're grasping your life, like maybe things have got out of control. So I'm going to let you kind of break that down a little bit and kind of repeat that a little bit for people who just tuned in, and how we can implement those aspects into our life.
The way I picture it is somebody grasping us and holding us to our accountability, holding us to what we know we want to make happen, and like firmly holding us there so that when other things waver in our life, we can go, no, this is what I'm fighting for. This is what I care about. And then I also picture this other hand on the other side grasping and pulling, because we have all these life things that come at us, these barriers that are constantly tugging us away from, I say I want to work out, but life. I say I want to cook more in my own kitchen, but my kids' sports schedule, or I have a lot of people who are in that Oreo cookie phase. They're taking care of their parents and they're also taking care of their kids. And so I just picture grasping, just we need somebody, and maybe it's, call it morals, call it your own standards, to be grasping and holding us firmly so that we keep fighting for what we ultimately want and not just getting pulled by society into what is accidentally can happen in the day.
and future projecting is not healthy. I've done that my whole life. Here I am, therapy again.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I achieve this, then I'll be. It's like when I, then I.
Yes.
And it's a killer too, because it's like when I get through school and success, I'll be successful when. And it's like, you're successful because you get out of bed every morning. You're successful because you got kids who love you. You're successful because, I mean, that's what our fill in the blank should be on the ad libs.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It's maddening.
Yeah, those when and then statements. And they're a lie to ourselves oftentimes. When, then, no, now. So that's hard. And then the permission to not be perfect. I'm sure you see this all the time. When we chase perfection, when we feel like it needs to be tied up with a pretty bow. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here right now with you if I was worried about it being tied up with a pretty bow, because this would have like sent me into total anxiety, nerves. And it's like, just go do. And once we're in action, we're normally better. And it'll be good, right? Good enough.
Good enough, 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah,
and procrastination comes when you're trying to be perfect too.
Yes.
And so you always put off, and I think people put off, and we'll talk a little bit about weight loss too and weight loss goals, because I think that's an important thing that we kind of face, because it's about health too. But I think because it seems so daunting, or we seem like we don't want failure, that we don't step into that too, and we want to be perfect, and we want to, just look like we've done it. I have a lot of women who won't even do before and after pictures. They won't do the before because it's a commitment to the after, and they just can't wrap their head around what if they can't do it, or worse, what if they're not perfect at it.
I get that. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in just a minute. We're going to come back, and Lindsey's going to give us 3 tips at the end. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
I was so excited for Ryder to get home and try this flavor because I knew he would love it. The fruits and greens. It's strawberry and kiwi flavored. He throws it in a glass. He loves this little stir. It creates a tornado. It's all about the fun. Fruits, veggies, fun. Hello, let's do it. Fills it up to the tip top because that's satisfying, right? I knew as soon as he grabbed that straw he was going to love it, but I didn't think he'd have the whole glass down in under 3 minutes. His whole daily servings of fruits and veggies done.
Hi, welcome back to The Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy, and I have the beautiful Lindsey House in the house. I just like saying that. That's fun. And we're talking about accountability, and we talked right before the break that we were going to talk a little bit about weight loss, because it kind of comes back. That's what brings people in my door, unfortunately, because it's not about that. And I always say weight loss is a side effect of wellness. Yes. And so, when we're thinking about that, we do equate. That's kind of a goal that kind of can bring us into wellness. So it's the excuse that kind of gets people in the door. Yeah. But I love that saying that you had about smashing the scales, because I tell people all the time, stay off the scales, because that's sabotage waiting to happen.
Yes. Oh, I really went down this path for a while there of scale smashing because I saw too many amazing, beautiful women let that scale determine what their mood was going to be like for the day, how they were going to proceed about their day, guide their eating habits, their fitness. I've since come back from it a little bit. Like I see a place for it, but I just think it needs to be very guided and a side item, to your point. And my story with this is I used to work in an outpatient clinic, and I would pick my clients up at the door and I'd walk them to the scale. Well, of course, while we're walking to the scale, we're talking, how was your week? And the common thing would be, it was great. I got more steps in. I cooked. We didn't eat out as much. Like this amazing, the smiles on people's faces, weigh somebody. And all of a sudden, yep, I'd lose them. And I like almost can cry on this stuff because it was so infuriating. I would get back to my desk with them and I'd be like frantically flipping and thinking, oh, they had to have gained 10 pounds. Like this has to be. No, oftentimes it was maintenance or only 2 pounds. Like for all their efforts that they put in, it wasn't what they thought. It wasn't what they were expecting. And I would take that whole hour just to get them back on track and care about fighting the good fight to like keep doing all those amazing things that they were already doing. And so that's where my frustration came with it. I just thought, this is unfair. This scale is sabotaging. It's not, why are we doing this? Why are we weighing? This is not helping. So.
My son's on a little bit of a weight loss journey. He's 18, and I won't let him weigh until I can visibly see him start to shift. And I also know, especially with testosterone in males and females too, that, that's just adipose sites swelling or shrinking. And so that's taking on water. And so the last thing you want is 2 or 3 pounds to frustrate you or sabotage you when it's not even about how much you've changed. Because of course there's so many variables for fitness and muscle tone, and muscle's heavier than fat, right? So it's like
all of it.
And they're not taking that into account. They'll just be like, I had pizza last night. Now they've got a cortisol response and they're all swollen and heavier.
Right. It's a brain game.
Yeah, it's a brain game. Absolutely. So, but I want him to weigh every once in a while when I see those changes, because it can motivate you.
Absolutely.
Too. So.
And I think that's where I've come back a little bit. I have some clients who have been with me for 15 plus years and they're like, hang on, Lindsey, there's a place for that scale. And I do see it, but there's got to be a happy medium.
Yeah. It's like almost the more you weigh, the more that scale can, help you. But if you just have like 10 or 15 pounds to lose, it's going to kill you. If you're like trying to just those cortisol pounds or whatever.
Yeah. So, yes. It's not a fun place to be.
So I definitely could use your help. So when can we schedule an appointment? Because I feel like I've only started my therapy. We had our interview, we've had our first getting to know each other, and okay, let's go. I'm ready for coach. But if you guys are interested, Lindsey, if you please tell our viewers how, if they think they're ready and they need somebody to help them lock in their goals and how to move forward.
Yes, absolutely. So healthaccountabilitycoach.com is my website, and there's a contact me page, and that's just an easy place to throw your questions. If you're like, I kind of hear what you're saying, but I don't know where to start, just talk. I'm really great at responding. And then I have a podcast, Direction Not Perfection, that releases every Friday. And that's kind of my space that I love. I was saying, it's hard for me not to sit here and interview you, Tammy. I'm struggling.
I know, the interview.
Right.
And I feel like just the education, because a lot of people get to know me through the show. And so when they come to me as patients, they're already familiar and they're already comfortable and they already know my vulnerability.
Yes.
And so as they get to know you, they're like, okay, and that fits. Or you're kind of interviewing us through our show.
Yes.
And so you kind of know if that's good.
One of the whole reasons why I initially started the podcast was because I don't like trying to ask people, come see me. I'm listen to me. If you like me, then we're a good fit.
Yeah.
But yes.
You feel, because the last thing you want to do is pulling teeth, is trying to convince people to do things. They've got to be in the place where they're ready for you, for sure.
100%.
Okay, so we promised them 3 tips to sort of take forward. What can they take away today that...
All right, I got them ready.
Okay, let's go.
All right. 1, shifting of expectations. We want to make sure that our expectations align with our reality. If we have too big of a chasm, too big of a gap in between what our reality is and what our expectations are, we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure. We need to make sure that we really stay real and that we can accomplish it and be proud of ourselves for accomplishing it. So if we need to shift our expectations, we need to do it. Number 2, you have to pull in an accountability system. It doesn't need to be me. It can be a neighbor, it can be a professional, but we all thrive with accountability. And then the last one is, this is just kind of a fun one, but rate your foods when you go throughout your day, as you go throughout these seasons of life. If you show up at something and you're looking at the food, you should really think, I'm going to eat the 8, 9s, and 10s. You should love what's going in your mouth.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of
8s, 9s, and 10s.
8, 9s, and 10s, yeah. If it's even a 5, it's a meh. Then why? It's not worth it. And I'm a big advocate of there are no off-limit foods. So we better like what's going in our mouth, though, as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In moderation.
In moderation, yeah. Lots to talk around with all of that. But I just don't believe in deprivation. I don't think it's not good for our emotional state. So.
And good choices. When my son was trying to lose weight, his biggest problem was, I just like food. He's, 18, he's got all this testosterone. I just like food. So we've just shifted the food that he eats, and we make sure it's got good flavor, but it's the healthy stuff, so it's good.
Yeah.
All right, so I was teasing about, you're going to be my new therapist, but probably she is. And so when you find out more about her, you'll watch her podcast and just kind of get to know her and fall in love with her like I have. So, Lindsey, tell them how they can find you and where your podcast is at so they can explore the education aspect and, maybe step in it. You kind of got to piecemeal into when you're getting ready to make changes at contemplation stage and then when you're ready. So how can they find you and listen to you?
Thank you. Healthaccountabilitycoach.com. That's healthaccountabilitycoach.com. And that's my website. You can just fill out a form to just talk to me, just ask questions. I'm here. I answer personally. And then my podcast is Direction, Not Perfection. And it's just my area to let you kind of sneak in and be a fly on the wall and just see if we're a good fit. Yeah. So
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, you can find us at thenakeddoctorshow.com, and we'll put some links in some of our programs and things so that you can find Lindsey as well. And we're on all social media and everything too. So we're kind of all over the place, YouTube. So you can find us and, look her up. Just take her education, if nothing else. I loved that acne show you did. I learned a ton from that. I mean, so it's
me too.
Always something with you and your guests too. So we try to find, the best people that we can bring in to share. And then we learn stuff too. And we learn stuff from you. So when you bring us stuff or when you comment or email us, we love that. And I think that when you teach, it makes it stick more for us too.
100%. Yes.
All right. We love you all very much. And we just wish you the best in your life and hope that you can take some of these takeaways and have the best life ever. Your life is great right now, right? It's not about perfection.
No.
But it's we can always modify things and learn and grow, and it's always about taking that next step just to really appreciate life and dive in and grasp it.
Yes. Love the wrap up.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.